Have you ever wondered why, no matter how much you do, it still never feels like enough? Why your to-do list grows even on your most productive days? Why you're always tired, yet constantly behind? We live in a world addicted to busy. Where "how are you" is answered with "busy," as always. Where rest feels like guilt. And slowing down feels like you're falling behind. But what if everything you've been told about success, productivity, and achievement is a lie? Unbusy, Why Doing Less Gets You More isn't just a book. It's a wake-up call. A rebellion against burnout. A blueprint for escaping the noise and finally hearing yourself again. In the next few chapters, you'll discover the silent ways busyness is stealing your time, your peace, your relationships, even your purpose. And more importantly, you'll learn how doing less can actually give you so much more. More clarity. More calm. More life. If you're ready to stop running and start living, click the link in the description to get your copy of Unbusy, Why Doing Less Gets You More. Because the real flex is peace. Chapter 1. The Illusion of Productivity. In the relentless hum of modern life, a pervasive and insidious myth has taken root, that busyness equates to productivity. We wear our exhaustion like a badge of honor, our overflowing calendars a testament to our perceived worth. From the moment our alarms jolt us awake, we are propelled into a whirlwind of activity, emails to answer, meetings to attend, tasks to complete, social media to scroll. The very idea of an empty slot in our schedule can evoke a twinge of anxiety, a feeling of not doing enough, of falling behind. We are conditioned to believe that a full plate is a successful plate, and that constant motion is an undeniable sign of progress. But what if this deeply ingrained belief is not only flawed but actively detrimental? What if, in our frantic pursuit of more, we are actually achieving less? This chapter aims to dismantle the pervasive myth of the busy productive equation. It challenges the deeply held conviction that the sheer volume of our activity directly correlates with the quality and impact of our output. We are trapped in what can only be described as a busyness treadmill, a never-ending cycle where the faster we run, the more we feel compelled to speed up, rarely stopping to question if we are even running in the right direction. We mistake motion for progress, believing that as long as we are moving, we must be advancing. But the truth is, often, we are merely expending energy without significant forward momentum. True effectiveness, genuine achievement, stems not from a ceaseless flurry of activity, but from intentional effort, focused attention, and strategic pauses. It's about doing the right things, not just doing things right. The hamster wheel effect. The core of the illusion lies in our profound confusion of activity with achievement. We are, in essence, behaving like a hamster on a wheel. The hamster is constantly in motion, expending tremendous energy, yet it remains precisely where it started. Similarly, in our professional and personal lives, we can be incredibly busy, attending every meeting, responding to every notification, taking on every request, and yet, at the end of the day, week, or even year, feel a profound sense of stagnation. We've been active, undoubtedly, but what significant milestones have we truly reached? What meaningful impact have we made? This phenomenon is fueled by several factors. Firstly, there's the societal validation of busyness. We are praised for our packed schedules, our ability to juggle multiple commitments, our willingness to burn the midnight oil. This external validation reinforces the belief that busyness is inherently good, irrespective of the actual outcomes. Secondly, the sheer volume of information and demands in the digital age creates a constant sense of urgency. Our inboxes overflow, our phones buzz with notifications, and every app vies for our attention. This relentless onslaught can trick our brains into believing that every incoming stimulus requires an immediate and active response, blurring the lines between what is truly important and what is merely urgent. We find ourselves meticulously checking off items on an ever-growing to-do list, feeling a fleeting sense of accomplishment with each crossed-out task. Yet, these tasks often represent small, reactive efforts rather than proactive steps toward larger, more meaningful goals. We are optimizing for quantity over quality, for speed over substance. This creates a deceptive sense of productivity, a superficial layer of doing that masks a deeper lack of achieving. The real cost of this hamster wheel effect isn't just wasted energy, it's a gradual erosion of our ability to discern what truly matters, to focus on high-leverage activities, and to experience the deep satisfaction that comes from genuine progress. The steep cost of chronic busyness. The illusion of productivity, driven by chronic busyness, extracts a heavy and often unacknowledged toll on our well-being. This isn't merely about feeling a bit tired at the end of the day, it's a silent epidemic that erodes our health, strains our relationships, and stifles our inherent creativity. Physically, the constant state of triggers a perpetual stress response in our bodies. Elevated cortisol levels become the norm, leading to a cascade of negative health consequences. We experience increased risk of burnout, chronic fatigue, anxiety, depression, sleep disturbances, and even a compromised immune system. Our bodies, designed for cycles of activity and rest, are pushed to their limits, leading to a breakdown in our physical and mental resilience. The quick fixes, more coffee, less sleep, convenience foods, only exacerbate the problem, creating a vicious cycle of exhaustion and further busyness. Beyond our individual health, chronic busyness casts a long shadow over our relationships. When our minds are constantly racing with tasks and obligations, we struggle to be fully present with loved ones. Conversations become transactional, moments of connection are rushed, and quality time dwindles. Partners feel neglected, children crave undivided attention, and friendships wither due to a perceived lack of time and energy. The very relationships that provide us with support, joy, and meaning are sacrificed at the altar of an illusionary productivity. We might be doing it all, but we are often doing it alone, disconnected from the very people who matter most. Perhaps most tragically, chronic busyness is a creativity killer. Creativity thrives in spaces of stillness, reflection, and open-ended exploration. It requires the mental bandwidth to connect disparate ideas, to ponder, to dream, and to allow insights to emerge. When our schedules are packed to the brim, when our minds are constantly stimulated and our attention fragmented, there is no room for this vital process. We become reactive rather than proactive, executing rather than innovating. The seeds of new ideas never get a chance to sprout, and our capacity for problem-solving and original thought diminishes. We become proficient at following instructions and ticking boxes, but we lose the ability to envision new possibilities and carve our own unique path. The path to real productivity. If busyness is a deceptive mirage, then real productivity is a refreshing oasis, characterized not by chaos, but by profound clarity. This clarity is the antidote to the frantic, unfocused energy that defines the illusion. It's about stripping away the non-essential, identifying what truly matters, and directing our efforts with precision and intention. The journey to real productivity begins with a fundamental shift in mindset. It requires us to challenge the ingrained belief that more equals better and to embrace the counterintuitive notion that often, less truly does get us more. This isn't about being lazy or disengaged, it's about being strategic and discerning. The first step towards clarity is defining what productive truly means to you. For many, the definition is externally imposed, a list of societal expectations or corporate metrics. But genuine productivity aligns with your values, your goals, and your deepest aspirations. What are the 20% of activities that yield 80% of your desired outcomes, the Pareto principle? What are the core projects, relationships, and personal pursuits that genuinely move the needle in your life? Identifying these key areas provides a compass, guiding your energy away from distractions and towards genuine progress. Once you have clarity on your priorities, the next step is to cultivate intentionality. This means proactively deciding where your time, energy, and attention will be directed, rather than passively reacting to external demands. It involves setting clear boundaries, saying no to commitments that don't align with your priorities, protecting blocks of uninterrupted time for deep work, and intentionally scheduling periods for rest and rejuvenation. Intentionality transforms you from a passenger on the busyness treadmill into the driver of your own schedule. It allows you to create space for thoughtful action rather than simply filling every void with activity. Embracing intentional effort. The ultimate goal of unbusying ourselves is not to become idle, but to become profoundly effective. Real productivity is an outcome of focused, intentional effort, meticulously applied to the areas that truly matter. It's about working smarter, not just harder. Embracing intentional effort means cultivating a habit of reflection and strategic planning. Before diving into tasks, take a moment to ask, is this the most impactful use of my time right now? Does this align with my overarching goals? Could this be done more efficiently, or even eliminated altogether? This pause for reflection, seemingly counterintuitive in a fast-paced world, is where true efficiency is born. It prevents us from getting lost in the minutiae and ensures that our actions contribute to meaningful progress. Furthermore, intentional effort encourages the adoption of practices that support deep work and sustain focus. This might involve creating dedicated workspaces, minimizing digital distractions, breaking down large projects into manageable steps, and utilizing techniques like time blocking to dedicate uninterrupted periods to high-priority tasks. It's about designing your day, week, and life in a way that minimizes opportunities for diffusion and maximizes opportunities for concentration. Finally, unbusying ourselves for true effectiveness also requires a radical acceptance of imperfection and the courage to let go of the need to do everything. It's about understanding that a truly productive life is not one where every minute is filled, but one where the minutes that are filled are dedicated to high-value activities that bring you closer to your aspirations. It's about prioritizing impact over activity, clarity over chaos, and ultimately, living a life that feels not just busy, but genuinely fulfilling and purposeful. The journey begins by recognizing the illusion for what it is, and then bravely stepping off the treadmill into a world where doing less truly does get you more. Chapter 2. The problem with I'm busy. In the modern lexicon, few phrases are as ubiquitous and as revealing as I'm busy. It has transcended a mere description of one's current state. It has become a default response, a social currency, and, perhaps most disturbingly, a self-fulfilling prophecy. When asked how are you, or what have you been up to, the immediate, almost reflexive answer for many is busy, often accompanied by a sigh, a shrug, or a look of weary pride. This simple declaration, seemingly innocuous, carries a weight far heavier than we realize. It is not just a statement of fact, it is an identity, a shield, and a subtle yet powerful barrier to genuine progress and personal well-being. This chapter delves into the profound implications of this ingrained linguistic habit. We will explore how our consistent articulation of I'm busy actively shapes our reality, locking us into a state of perpetual overwhelm and hindering our ability to truly thrive. Language is not merely a tool for communication, it is a powerful architect of our perceptions, our beliefs, and ultimately, our actions. When we repeatedly tell ourselves and others that we are busy, we reinforce the very condition we lament. It becomes a loop. We say we're busy, so we feel busy, so we act busy, which then makes us genuinely busy, thereby validating our initial declaration. The problem isn't the occasional period of genuine high activity, which is a natural part of life. The problem lies in the identity of busyness, the internal script that dictates our default mode. When I'm busy becomes our personal brand, we inadvertently create a prison of our own making, built from the bricks of endless tasks and the mortar of perceived obligation. This chapter will challenge us to recognize this linguistic trap and to understand that true freedom, and genuine effectiveness, begins with consciously stepping away from this busy identity and reclaiming our narratives. The busy badge of honor. Why has I'm busy become such a prevalent and seemingly desirable response? It has, in essence, transformed into a badge of honor. In a society that often equates productivity with worth, and activity with success, being busy signals competence, demand, and importance. It suggests that one is in high demand, that their skills are valued, and that they are contributing significantly. To admit to not being busy can sometimes feel like admitting to being unproductive, irrelevant, or even lazy. This societal pressure creates a strong incentive to constantly project an image of busyness, even when it leads to exhaustion and diminishing returns. This perception is reinforced in various ways: the colleague who boasts about working late, the social media feed filled with meticulously curated images of packed schedules, the expectation in some corporate cultures to be constantly available. We internalize these messages and begin to believe that our value is directly proportional to our level of busyness. This creates a self-perpetuating cycle. We feel compelled to be busy to feel valuable, and the more busy we are, the more valuable we perceive ourselves to be, even if the actual output or quality of life suffers. However, this badge of honor is, in fact, a cleverly disguised barrier. Firstly, it acts as a barrier to true connection. When I'm busy is our default, it subtly signals to others that we are unavailable for deep conversations, for spontaneous moments, for genuine presence. It creates a transactional interaction rather than a meaningful one. Secondly, and more critically, it acts as a barrier to personal growth and progress. When our identity is inextricably linked to being busy, we unconsciously resist any opportunity to slow down, reflect, or challenge the status quo. The thought of having free time can feel uncomfortable, even threatening, because it undermines the very identity we have meticulously constructed. This mindset keeps us trapped in a reactive mode, constantly responding to external stimuli rather than proactively shaping our lives. It prioritizes the appearance of work over the substance of achievement, leading to a profound sense of being perpetually behind, despite constant effort. How busy keeps us stuck. The insidious nature of the "I'm busy" mindset is most acutely felt in its ability to keep us perpetually stuck in a state of overwhelm. When busyness becomes our identity, we inadvertently create a psychological and practical trap that makes escaping its clutches incredibly difficult. This trap manifests in several ways, each contributing to a feeling of being constantly behind, despite our tireless efforts. Firstly, the "I'm busy" identity fuels an almost compulsive need to fill every waking moment with activity. Any void is seen as an opportunity for more tasks, more commitments, more obligations. This leaves no room for essential elements like rest, reflection, or spontaneous creative thought. Our brains, constantly stimulated and rarely given a chance to process and consolidate information, become fragmented and inefficient. This leads to a persistent feeling of being overwhelmed, where every new input feels like an unbearable burden. Secondly, this mindset often prevents us from prioritizing effectively. If everything feels urgent and important because I'm busy, then nothing truly stands out as critical. We become reactive, constantly putting out fires and responding to the loudest demand, rather than strategically focusing on high-leverage activities that would yield the most significant results. This tyranny of the urgent ensures that we remain perpetually in a state of catch-up, never truly getting ahead. The to-do list grows longer, the feeling of being overwhelmed intensifies, and the cycle perpetuates itself. Moreover, the "I'm busy" narrative can serve as a convenient excuse, albeit an unconscious one, for not tackling challenging, meaningful work. It's easier to complain about being too busy than to confront a difficult decision, a creative block, or a significant strategic pivot. By simply being busy, we can defer uncomfortable tasks, avoid deep thinking, and sidestep personal responsibility for our choices. This keeps us firmly entrenched in a cycle of surface-level activity, preventing us from engaging in the deeper, more impactful work that requires focus, courage, and a willingness to step outside our comfort zone. The constant hum of busyness acts as a distraction from confronting what truly needs our attention. From identity-based busyness to purpose-driven action. Breaking free from the shackles of the "I'm busy" identity requires a fundamental shift in perspective and a conscious recalibration of our language and actions. The goal is to move from an identity-based busyness, where our worth is tied to our perceived level of activity, to purpose-driven action, where our efforts are aligned with clear goals and a meaningful vision for our lives. The first critical step in this transformation is to become acutely aware of our language. Notice when "I'm busy" rolls off your tongue. Is it a genuine reflection of an exceptionally demanding period, or is it a default, almost automatic response? Start consciously choosing different words. Instead of "I'm busy," try "I'm focused on X, I'm working on a priority project," or "My plate is full, but I'm managing." Even small linguistic shifts can begin to reframe your internal narrative and, consequently, your external reality. This isn't about denial, it's about intentionality in your self-talk and communication. Next, cultivate a deep understanding of your true purpose and priorities. This involves introspection and honest self-assessment. What are your core values? What are the non-negotiable elements of a fulfilling life for you? What are your most important goals, personally, professionally, relationally? When your actions are tethered to a clear purpose, the busy becomes a means to an end, rather than an end in itself. You stop chasing every shiny object or responding to every demand and instead, align your efforts with what truly matters. This clarity provides an internal compass, helping you filter out the noise and say no to distractions without feeling guilt or fear of missing out. This shift also involves embracing periods of unbusiness not as emptiness, but as essential for clarity and creativity. Schedule white space in your calendar, time for reflection, rest, learning, or simply being. These deliberate pauses are not luxuries, they are vital for recharging, gaining perspective, and allowing new ideas to emerge. By prioritizing purpose-driven action, you begin to reclaim control over your time and energy, transforming yourself from a passive recipient of busyness into an active architect of a life of impact and meaning. The power of intentional choice. Stepping away from the busy identity is not just about avoiding overwhelm, it's about unlocking a profound sense of freedom. This freedom comes from the power of intentional choice, the ability to consciously decide how you spend your most valuable resources, your time, your energy, and your attention. When you shed the need to constantly prove your worth through busyness, you create space for a life that is not just active, but truly aligned and fulfilling. This newfound freedom manifests in tangible ways. You gain the clarity to discern high-impact activities from mere busy work, allowing you to focus your efforts where they yield the greatest results. You become more discerning with your commitments, protecting your boundaries and saying yes only to opportunities that genuinely excite and serve your purpose. This empowers you to engage more deeply with the tasks you do undertake, leading to higher quality work and a greater sense of accomplishment. Furthermore, releasing the busy identity liberates you to cultivate richer relationships. When you're no longer constantly preoccupied with the next task, you can be truly present with loved ones, listen attentively, and engage in meaningful interactions. This deepens connections and enriches your personal life, providing the vital support system often neglected in the pursuit of endless activity. Ultimately, the journey from identity-based busyness to purpose-driven action is a liberating one. It allows you to define success on your own terms, rather than conforming to societal pressures. It invites you to reclaim your narrative, to speak a language of intentionality and purpose, and to design a life where you are not just constantly moving, but truly progressing, one mindful, purpose-driven action at a time. The freedom to choose, to prioritize, and to simply be, is the ultimate reward for letting go of the need to be perpetually busy. Chapter 3: The Power of Saying No. In our earnest desire to be helpful, accommodating, and a team player, many of us have developed an almost automatic reflex, saying yes. Yes to the extra project, yes to the last-minute request, yes to the social engagement we're not truly excited about. While often well-intentioned, this constant affirmation gradually erodes our most precious resources, our time, our energy, and our attention. Each yes to something we don't truly want or need to do is an implicit no to something that genuinely matters to us, be it a personal goal, quality time with loved ones, or simply essential rest. This chapter delves into what is arguably the most powerful, yet most underutilized, tool for reclaiming your life from the clutches of busyness, the ability to say no. It's a word often fraught with discomfort, guilt, or the fear of missing out, yet mastering its gentle but firm application is the secret weapon for cultivating genuine freedom and intentionality. We are conditioned from a young age to be agreeable, to please others, and to avoid conflict. These deeply ingrained societal norms make no feel like a rebellious act, a rejection, or even an admission of inadequacy. However, the truth is that a well-placed no is not a sign of selfishness, it is an act of self-preservation and a profound declaration of your priorities. It is the boundary that protects your most valuable assets from constant encroachment. Without the ability to decline, we become hostages to the demands of others, our schedules dictated by external forces rather than internal purpose. This chapter will illuminate why setting boundaries is not just a defensive maneuver but an offensive strategy for designing a life that aligns with what truly brings you meaning and impact. Boundaries, your secret weapon for freedom. Imagine a garden without a fence. It would be beautiful, perhaps, but vulnerable to constant intrusion, animals grazing, debris scattered, delicate plants trampled. Similarly, without clear boundaries, our personal and professional lives become susceptible to constant encroachment, leaving us feeling drained, resentful, and utterly overwhelmed. Boundaries are not about building walls, they are about defining parameters, creating sacred spaces, and protecting your vital resources. They are, in essence, your secret weapon for freedom. The freedom that boundaries afford is multifaceted. Firstly, it's the freedom of time. Every commitment you accept, every request you fulfill, consumes a segment of your finite time. By setting boundaries, you actively choose how that time is allocated, ensuring that a significant portion is dedicated to your priorities, goals, and well-being. This empowers you to allocate time for deep work, creative pursuits, personal development, or simply quiet reflection, all activities that are often sacrificed at the altar of endless yes. Secondly, boundaries grant you emotional and mental freedom. When you are constantly overcommitted and feel a perpetual sense of obligation, your mental and emotional bandwidth becomes stretched thin. Resentment festers, stress levels skyrocket, and the joy of life diminishes. Saying no to what drains you, and yes only to what truly energizes and aligns with you, liberates your mental space. It reduces the cognitive load of juggling too many things and allows you to engage more fully and joyfully with the commitments you do choose. Finally, boundaries foster freedom from external validation. A key reason we struggle with no is the fear of disappointing others, being perceived negatively, or missing out. By intentionally setting boundaries, you signal to yourself and others that your worth is not contingent on your perpetual availability or your willingness to accommodate every request. This builds self-respect and confidence, empowering you to live authentically and make choices based on your true priorities, rather than external pressures. Boundaries are not about pushing people away, they are about drawing clear lines that allow for healthier, more respectful, and ultimately, more fulfilling interactions. The art of saying no, graceful, yet firm. The concept of saying no often conjures images of abruptness, rudeness, or discomfort. However, true mastery of this art lies in its graceful yet firm delivery. It's about communicating your boundaries clearly, respectfully, and without apology, while minimizing potential friction. This isn't about being confrontational, it's about being assertive and authentic. The first step in saying no gracefully is to be clear on your yes. Before you can confidently decline, you must know what you are protecting. Refer back to the clarity you gained in Chapter 1. What are your top priorities? What are your non-negotiables? When you have a strong internal compass, saying no becomes less about rejecting something and more about staying true to your existing commitments and values. When it comes to the delivery, consider these practical strategies. Be prompt, not procrastinating. Delaying a no often makes it harder and can create false hope. Respond as soon as you can, even if it's just to say, "Thank you for thinking of me. I need a moment to check my schedule and will get back to you by time/day." Be direct and concise, avoid rambling explanations or excessive apologies. A simple, "Thank you for the invitation, but I won't be able to make it," is often sufficient. If a reason feels appropriate, keep it brief. "I'm already committed to another project," or "That's not something I can take on right now." You don't owe a lengthy justification. Focus on the why not now, not why not ever. If appropriate, you can express interest but indicate current limitations. "That sounds like a fascinating project, but my plate is completely full for the next 2 months. Please keep me in mind for future opportunities." Offer alternatives, if applicable and genuine. If you genuinely want to help but cannot commit, offer a viable alternative. "I can't lead that committee, but I could help with research for an hour next week," or "I can't attend, but perhaps colleague's name would be a good fit." Be careful not to create new obligations you don't want. Use I statements. Frame your refusal from your perspective. "I'm unable to take on anything new," or "I've decided to prioritize X right now." This sounds less like a judgment and more like a personal boundary. Practice, practice, practice. The more you say no, the easier it becomes. Start with lower stakes situations and build your confidence. Remember, a firm no delivered gracefully is far more respectful than a reluctant yes that leads to resentment, shoddy work, or an unfulfilled commitment. Creating space for what truly matters. The ultimate dividend of mastering the art of saying no is the creation of invaluable space. This isn't just physical space on your calendar, it's mental, emotional, and creative space that allows you to breathe, think, and intentionally pursue what truly matters in your life. Without the constant pressure of external demands, you unlock the capacity for deep engagement and profound fulfillment. Consider the ripple effect of a strategic no. When you decline a non-essential meeting, you gain an hour to focus on a high-priority project. When you politely refuse to chair a committee that doesn't align with your goals, you free up mental energy for a creative pursuit or quality time with family. Each no becomes a powerful yes to something more significant. This newly created space is where real productivity flourishes. It allows for deep work, uninterrupted blocks of time dedicated to focused, high-value tasks that move the needle on your most important goals. This is where innovation, complex problem-solving, and significant progress occur. Reflection and strategy, the opportunity to step back, assess your progress, recalibrate your priorities, and think strategically about your next steps. This prevents you from getting caught in the reactive loop of busyness. Creativity and innovation. Empty space in your schedule and in your mind is the fertile ground for new ideas to emerge. Without constant stimulation, your brain can make new connections, leading to breakthroughs and original solutions. Rest and rejuvenation, the ability to genuinely disconnect, recharge, and restore your energy. This is crucial for preventing burnout and maintaining long-term physical and mental health. Meaningful connections, the freedom to be fully present with loved ones, to engage in deep conversations, and to nurture the relationships that provide joy and support. Creating this space requires proactive effort and a willingness to challenge the default of busyness. It means intentionally carving out time for these activities and protecting them fiercely from intrusions. It's about recognizing that space is not a void to be filled, but a valuable asset to be cherished and utilized purposefully. The courage to prioritize your peace. The power of saying no ultimately boils down to the courage to prioritize your peace, your purpose, and your well-being over external expectations and the fear of fleeting discomfort. It's a muscle that strengthens with practice, and each successful no builds confidence for the next. This isn't about becoming a hermit or shirking responsibilities. It's about being an intentional curator of your life. It's about understanding that you have finite energy and time, and that scattering these resources too widely diminishes their impact. By saying no to the good, you make room for the great. By declining what doesn't align, you create capacity for what truly sets your soul on fire. The journey to mastering no will likely involve some initial discomfort. You might encounter confusion from those accustomed to your perpetual yes. Some might even express disappointment. But remember, their reaction is about their expectations, not your worth. True respect often comes not from always accommodating, but from clearly communicating your boundaries and consistently living in alignment with your values. As you integrate the power of no into your life, you will begin to witness a profound transformation. Your schedule will feel less like a chaotic battleground and more like a carefully crafted masterpiece. Your energy levels will stabilize, your focus will sharpen, and your relationships will deepen through genuine presence. You will move from being a reactive participant in your life to an active designer, empowered to create the space necessary for what truly matters to flourish. The power to reclaim your time, your energy, and your peace resides within that simple, yet profoundly liberating, word, no. Chapter 4. Focus on less, achieve more. In an age defined by abundance of information, opportunities, and demands, we are constantly exhorted to do more, be more, and accumulate more. The prevailing wisdom suggests that the path to success lies in juggling multiple projects, mastering endless tools, and responding instantly to every digital ping. Yet, despite this relentless pursuit of more, a growing number of individuals find themselves feeling less accomplished, less satisfied, and profoundly drained. We live in a paradox. Never before have we had so much access to data and so many avenues for activity, Yet often, our actual, meaningful output feels diluted and our sense of fulfillment diminished. This chapter seeks to dismantle the pervasive myth that quantity equals quality, and that spreading our attention across numerous tasks somehow amplifies our results. Instead, we will explore the profound and often counterintuitive truth that doing fewer things with greater focus is the most reliable path to achieving better outcomes, higher quality work, and a deeper sense of satisfaction. It's a radical proposition in a world that champions multitasking and perpetual busyness, but one deeply rooted in the science of human cognition and the principles of genuine effectiveness. The core premise is simple yet powerful: our brains are not designed for constant, rapid context switching. They thrive on focused attention, on the sustained concentration required to delve deeply into a single task, wrestle with complex problems, and produce work of true value. By understanding the inherent limitations of our cognitive architecture, we can move beyond the superficial allure of busyness and embrace a more intentional, focused approach to our work and our lives. This chapter will illuminate the cognitive benefits of deep work and provide practical strategies for simplifying your workload, not to do less, but to achieve far more of what truly matters. The myth of multitasking. One of the most persistent and damaging myths of the modern workplace is the belief in effective multitasking. We proudly list multitasking as a skill on our resumes, convinced that our ability to simultaneously answer emails, participate in a video call, and draft a report makes us incredibly efficient. However, decades of cognitive science research unequivocally tell a different story. True multitasking, the ability to genuinely focus on and execute two demanding cognitive tasks at the exact same time, is largely a myth. What we perceive as multitasking is, in reality, rapid context switching. When we jump between tasks, our brain doesn't seamlessly transition. Instead, it incurs a switching cost. Each time we shift our attention from one task to another, there's a brief but significant period where our brain has to disengage from the previous task, load the context of the new task, and reorient itself. This process is inefficient, consumes valuable mental energy, and significantly reduces both the speed and accuracy of our work. Studies have shown that constant context switching can reduce productivity by as much as 40%, make us more prone to errors, and even lower our IQ temporarily. Consider the common scenario: you're writing an important report, and an email notification pops up. You glance at it, respond quickly, and then try to return to your report. That seemingly minor interruption has broken your concentration, and it takes precious minutes to fully re-immerse yourself in the complex ideas you were wrestling with. Repeat this process dozens of times throughout the day, and your capacity for deep, meaningful work is severely compromised. The constant stimulation of notifications, the open tabs, and the temptation to quickly just check something fragments our attention, preventing us from ever truly sinking into a state of flow or producing work of exceptional quality. The science is clear: our brains are designed for single tasking. When we dedicate our full, undivided attention to one task at a time, we engage our prefrontal cortex more effectively, allowing for deeper processing, stronger memory encoding, and superior problem solving. Embracing single tasking isn't about doing less, it's about doing each task with the highest possible quality and efficiency, thereby achieving far more meaningful results in the long run. The path to meaningful outcomes. If multitasking is a cognitive illusion, then the antidote is a fundamental commitment to quality over quantity. In a world obsessed with metrics like number of emails sent or hours logged, shifting our focus to the depth and impact of our work can feel revolutionary. Yet, this is precisely where true leverage lies. It's not about how many tasks you complete, it's about the significance and excellence of the tasks you do complete. Consider the difference between superficial engagement and deep work. Superficial engagement involves skimming, reacting, and ticking off easy tasks. It often feels busy but yields little lasting value. Deep work, on the other hand, is focused, uninterrupted, and often cognitively demanding. It's the kind of work that creates truly impactful reports, develops innovative solutions, writes compelling narratives, or crafts strategic plans. The results of deep work are disproportionately more valuable than the cumulative output of countless superficial tasks. This principle extends beyond professional life into our personal spheres. Quality over quantity in relationships means dedicating present, undivided attention to loved ones, rather than juggling family time with phone distractions. It means having one meaningful conversation rather than 10 hurried ones. In leisure, it means fully immersing yourself in a hobby, a book, or a moment of quiet, rather than flitting between half-hearted activities. The pursuit of quality over quantity requires discipline and a reevaluation of our values. It means consciously resisting the urge to spread ourselves thin, to chase every opportunity, or to say yes to every request. It demands the courage to prioritize, to prune, and to focus our limited energy on what truly moves the needle. When we commit to doing fewer things with exceptional care, the outcomes are not just better in terms of results, they also lead to a greater sense of pride, mastery, and satisfaction. The work itself becomes more enjoyable, and the feeling of genuine accomplishment replaces the hollow busyness. Strategies for narrowing your focus to amplify your results. The shift from widespread, fragmented activity to narrowed, amplified focus isn't accidental, it's a deliberate choice supported by practical strategies. By implementing specific techniques, you can engineer your environment and your habits to cultivate deep work and maximize your impact. Identify your one thing. Inspired by Gary Keller's book, ask yourself, what's the one thing I can do, such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary? This helps you pinpoint the highest leverage activity for any given period, day, week, project. Start your day by tackling this one thing first, before distractions set in. Time blocking for deep work. Schedule dedicated, uninterrupted blocks of time, e.g., 60 to 90 minutes, for your most important tasks. Treat these blocks as sacred appointments that cannot be easily broken. Turn off notifications, close unnecessary tabs, and communicate your unavailability to colleagues if possible. Use techniques like the Pomodoro technique, 25 minutes of focused work, 5-minute break, to build stamina. Ruthless prioritization and elimination. Regularly review your to-do list. Apply the 80-20 rule. Identify the 20% of tasks that will deliver 80% of your desired results, and relentlessly eliminate, delegate, or defer the other 80%. Ask, does this truly need to be done by me? Does this need to be done at all? Create a distraction-free environment. Minimize visual and auditory clutter. Close unnecessary browser tabs and applications. Put your phone on silent and out of sight. Consider using website blockers during focused work periods. Design your physical space to support concentration. Batch similar tasks, group similar, low cognitive load tasks together, e.g., answering emails, making calls, scheduling. Dedicate specific times to these shallow work activities rather than allowing them to interrupt your deep work flow throughout the day. Schedule strategic breaks and reflection. Deep focus is exhausting. Integrate planned breaks into your day for movement, light activity, or simply staring into space. Also, schedule regular reflection time to review what worked, what didn't, and how you can refine your focus strategies. This reinforces the cycle of clarity and effective action. Implementing these strategies requires discipline and a willingness to say no to both external demands and internal urges to switch tasks. But the reward is a tangible increase in the quality and impact of your work, and a profound reduction in the feeling of being overwhelmed. The amplified life. The ultimate outcome of narrowing your focus to amplify your results is not just a more productive professional life, but a more satisfying and impactful existence overall. When you commit to doing fewer things with greater care, you unlock a powerful synergy that transcends mere task completion. Firstly, you experience a significant increase in the quality of your output. When your full cognitive resources are dedicated to a single task, the insights are deeper, the solutions more robust, and the creations more refined. This leads to work you can be truly proud of, fostering a sense of mastery and professionalism. This higher quality also often translates into better results and greater recognition, making your efforts more impactful. Secondly, the practice of focused work dramatically improves your sense of accomplishment and satisfaction. Instead of a vague feeling of having been busy, you end the day with the concrete satisfaction of having made significant progress on a truly important task. This feeling of genuine achievement is a powerful motivator and a balm against the chronic stress of overwhelm. You move from feeling like a hamster on a wheel to a craftsman carefully shaping a masterpiece. Finally, embracing focus on less, achieve more cultivates a more intentional and meaningful life. By consciously choosing where to direct your precious attention, you align your actions with your deepest values and aspirations. This principle extends beyond work. Dedicating focused time to relationships strengthens bonds, truly engaging with a hobby brings deeper joy, and intentional rest allows for genuine rejuvenation. The amplified life is one where your efforts are concentrated, your impact is magnified, and your days are filled not with frantic activity, but with purposeful action. It's a life where the less you do in terms of quantity of tasks, paradoxically, leads to more in terms of quality, impact, and profound personal fulfillment. The journey begins by understanding the science, committing to the strategies, and having the courage to prune away the superfluous to make room for the truly essential. Chapter 5. Declutter your life. Imagine trying to navigate a dense jungle without a clear path, or attempting to think clearly in a room overflowing with disarray. This is, in essence, the experience of living and working amidst clutter, be it physical objects, overflowing digital spaces, or unresolved emotional baggage. While we often perceive clutter as merely an aesthetic issue, its impact is far more profound, silently draining our energy, fragmenting our focus, and acting as a constant, low-grade stressor. It's a hidden tax on our cognitive resources, making it harder to think, harder to act, and harder to find the peace and clarity necessary for true effectiveness. This chapter shifts our attention from the external pressures of busyness to the internal and environmental factors that contribute to our overwhelmed state. Just as we've learned to say no to excessive commitments and focus on less for greater impact, we must now turn our attention to the tangible and intangible clutter that holds us back. Clutter, in all its forms, represents decisions deferred, attention scattered, and energy dispersed. It's the physical manifestation of indecision and the constant hum of unfinished business. We will explore the undeniable link between our external environment and our internal state. A cluttered desk often reflects a cluttered mind, and vice versa. By actively simplifying our surroundings and streamlining our schedules and digital lives, we create invaluable space, not just physical emptiness, but mental bandwidth, emotional lightness, and the freedom to truly engage with what matters most. This isn't about asceticism or extreme deprivation, it's about the art of discerning what serves us and bravely letting go of what doesn't, thereby amplifying our capacity for impact and satisfaction. Physical clutter equals mental clutter. The most immediate and apparent form of clutter is physical. Our homes, offices, and even our bags often accumulate items beyond their utility or our genuine need. Piles of papers, overflowing closets, forgotten gadgets, and redundant possessions all contribute to a visual and spatial overload. While we might attempt to ignore them, these physical objects exert a subtle, yet significant, cognitive drain. The link between physical clutter and mental clutter is undeniable and backed by psychological research. When our environment is chaotic, our brains are constantly working overtime to process the visual stimuli. This leads to increased stress and anxiety. The sheer volume of things can create a subliminal sense of being overwhelmed, triggering a stress response. The feeling of not being able to find things, or the guilt associated with unaddressed piles, adds to this mental burden. Reduced focus and productivity. Every item that demands attention, even passively, competes for our limited cognitive resources. A messy desk makes it harder to concentrate on a single task, as our eyes and minds are constantly drawn to other objects. Research shows that cluttered environments can decrease productivity and hinder creativity. Decision fatigue. Every item represents a past decision, to buy it, to keep it, and potentially a future decision, to use it, move it, or discard it. A room full of clutter means a constant stream of unconscious microdecisions that chip away at our mental energy, leaving less for truly important choices. Delayed action. The sheer effort required to sort through clutter often leads to procrastination. Tasks that might be simple become daunting when they require navigating a sea of disorganization first. Physical clutter also creates literal barriers, making it harder to find what we need, move freely, and maintain a sense of order. It's a constant visual reminder of unfinished business, preventing us from truly relaxing or feeling fully present in our spaces. Decluttering our physical environment isn't just about aesthetics, it's about creating a calm, functional foundation that supports mental clarity and intentional action. It's about designing a sanctuary where our minds can rest and our focus can thrive. Streamlining your environment, schedule, and digital life. The journey to an unbusied life necessitates a systematic approach to streamlining every domain where clutter accumulates. This isn't a one-time purge, but an ongoing practice of discernment and intentional organization. 1. Streamlining your physical environment. Adopt a one-in, one-out rule. When you buy something new, commit to donating or discarding something similar. Categorize and containerize. Group similar items and give them a designated home. Use bins, drawers, and shelves to contain items neatly. The KonMari method, or similar. Hold each item and ask yourself, does this spark joy, or does this serve a purpose? If not, let it go. Be ruthless. Declutter by zone. Instead of overwhelming yourself with the entire house, tackle one small area at a time, e.g., one drawer, one shelf, one counter. Regular purges. Schedule periodic decluttering sessions, perhaps seasonally, to prevent reaccumulation. 2. Streamlining your schedule. Review commitments regularly, weekly or bi-weekly. Assess your calendar. Are there commitments that no longer serve your purpose? Can anything be delegated or eliminated? Revisit the power of saying no. Build in buffer time. Avoid back-to-back appointments. Allow transition time between tasks and meetings to avoid feeling rushed and to process information. Schedule white space. Intentionally block out periods with no specific agenda. This allows for spontaneous action, rest, or simply thinking. Time audits. For a week, track where your time actually goes. This often reveals surprising time sinks that can then be addressed. Automate and batch. Use technology to automate repetitive tasks, bill paying, subscriptions. Batch similar tasks together to improve efficiency, e.g., respond to all emails at a specific time. 3. Streamlining your digital life. Email management. Unsubscribe from unnecessary newsletters. Create folders and filters to manage incoming mail. Process emails in batches, not constantly. Aim for inbox zero at least once a day. File organization. Create a logical, consistent folder structure for your digital files. Delete old, redundant, or unnecessary documents regularly. Use cloud storage for easy access and backup. Desktop/phone declutter. Keep your computer desktop clean with minimal icons. Organize apps on your phone into folders and delete unused ones. Notification control. Turn off all non-essential notifications on your phone and computer. Only allow notifications for truly urgent communications. Social media curating. Unfollow accounts that drain your energy or don't add value. Limit your time on social media platforms or schedule specific times for engagement. By systematically applying these strategies, you actively create clarity and space, freeing up mental and emotional energy for what truly matters. The art of minimalism for maximum impact. At its heart, decluttering is an exercise in practical minimalism. Minimalism, often misunderstood as extreme deprivation, is not about owning nothing, it's about owning just enough and ensuring that everything you do own or commit to serves a purpose, adds value, or brings you joy. It's an art form that, when practiced, delivers maximum impact on your life. The core tenets of minimalism, when applied broadly to life beyond just physical possessions, include intentionality. Every acquisition, every commitment, every digital subscription is a conscious choice, not a default. You actively decide what enters your life and what stays. Purpose-driven. Each item or activity must justify its existence. Does it enhance your life? Does it support your goals? Does it bring you genuine happiness? If not, it becomes a candidate for removal. Quality over quantity. Investing in fewer, higher quality items or experiences that last longer and provide deeper satisfaction, rather than accumulating many mediocre ones. This applies to relationships and commitments too. Freedom from excess. Releasing the burden of maintenance, decision-making, and emotional attachment that comes with excessive possessions or commitments. This frees up mental bandwidth and physical space. Focus on experiences, not things, prioritizing experiences, growth, and relationships over material accumulation or a perpetually busy schedule. Embracing minimalism is not just about a tidy home, it's about cultivating a tidy mind and a focused life. When you reduce the sheer volume of stimuli and obligations, your attention is no longer fragmented. This allows you to apply your full cognitive and emotional resources to the few things that truly matter. The impact is profound. Enhanced focus, with fewer distractions, your ability to concentrate on deep work dramatically improves. Reduced stress, a streamlined life inherently reduces the mental load and anxiety associated with overwhelm. Greater clarity, with less noise, you can hear your own thoughts, values, and priorities more clearly. Increased energy, the energy previously consumed by managing clutter is now available for purposeful action and genuine enjoyment. Financial freedom, conscious consumption and decluttering often lead to smarter financial choices. Minimalism, therefore, is not a restrictive lifestyle but a liberating philosophy that paves the way for a richer, more impactful existence. Creating space for what truly matters. The ultimate reward of decluttering, physical, digital, and emotional, is the creation of expansive, inviting space for what truly matters. This space is not an emptiness to be filled, but a fertile ground for growth, connection, and profound satisfaction. It's the canvas upon which you can paint a life that is truly aligned with your deepest values and aspirations. When your surroundings are calm and organized, your schedule is streamlined to protect your priorities, and your digital life is managed intentionally, you unlock an incredible capacity. This capacity manifests as more time for meaningful pursuits, whether it's a creative hobby, learning a new skill, engaging in volunteer work, or simply enjoying quiet reflection. The deliberate creation of space allows these enriching activities to flourish. Deeper relationships, with less internal and external clutter, you can be more present, listen more attentively, and offer more of yourself to the people who matter most. This fosters stronger, more authentic connections. Enhanced well-being, reduced stress, increased clarity, and the freedom from constant overwhelm contribute to significantly improved mental and physical health. You sleep better, feel less anxious, and have more energy. Amplified impact. By focusing your efforts on fewer, higher leverage activities, your contributions become more significant, more impactful, and more resonant. You move from busy work to meaningful work. Greater sense of peace. The uncluttered life is inherently a calmer life. The constant hum of mental noise subsides, replaced by a sense of order, control, and inner tranquility. Decluttering is not just an act of organizing, it's an act of self-care and self-respect. It's a continuous process of refinement, a commitment to living intentionally and choosing purpose over proliferation. By embracing the art of simplification, you transform your environment from a source of drain into a wellspring of energy and focus. You move beyond merely making space to actively creating life, a life that is unburdened, purposeful, and rich with what truly brings you joy and makes a difference. The journey to being unbusy begins with clearing the path, allowing you to focus on less and truly achieve more. Chapter 6: The True Currency of Productivity. For too long, our understanding of productivity has been tethered almost exclusively to time. We meticulously plan our schedules, optimize our minutes, and lament the finite nature of 24 hours. We believe that if we can just manage our time more effectively, squeeze more tasks into each hour, or work longer, we will inevitably achieve more. However, this time-centric view is fundamentally incomplete and ultimately unsustainable. It ignores a far more critical, yet often overlooked, currency: our energy. Time, by its very nature, is fixed. There are only 24 hours in a day, no matter how efficiently we try to pack them. Energy, on the other hand, is fluid, renewable, and manageable. We don't just have a finite amount of energy to spend, we have the capacity to generate and replenish it. The most disciplined time manager will still struggle if their energy levels are consistently depleted, leading to burnout, diminished quality of work, and a pervasive sense of exhaustion. It's not just about how many hours you work, it's about the quality of those hours, and that quality is directly tied to your physical, mental, emotional, and even spiritual energy. This chapter introduces a paradigm shift, viewing productivity not solely through the lens of time management, but through the lens of energy management. It challenges the prevailing notion that pushing harder and longer is the path to success, and instead champions the idea of working smarter with our natural rhythms. We will explore how understanding our personal energy cycles and prioritizing conscious renewal can unlock a deeper, more sustainable form of effectiveness, moving us beyond mere activity to genuine, high-quality output without the relentless drain. The depletion trap. In our time-obsessed culture, the prevailing strategy for getting more done is often to simply push harder and longer. We operate under the assumption that if we just keep going, fueled by caffeine and sheer willpower, we can outrun the natural limits of our energy. This mindset, while seemingly productive in the short term, inevitably leads to what can be called the depletion trap. The depletion trap is characterized by a vicious cycle. We extend our working hours, skip breaks, cut back on sleep, and neglect personal well-being in a desperate attempt to maximize output. Initially, we might see a temporary spike in activity, but this comes at a significant cost. Our physical energy dwindles, leading to fatigue and a weakened immune system. Our mental energy diminishes, resulting in poor concentration, increased errors, and difficulty making decisions. Our emotional energy becomes frayed, making us more irritable, less resilient to stress, and prone to emotional outbursts. Even our spiritual energy, our sense of purpose and connection, can suffer as we become disconnected from what truly inspires us. This constant state of depletion manifests in various ways. Burnout, a state of chronic physical and emotional exhaustion, often accompanied by cynicism and a sense of ineffectiveness. Decreased quality of work. As energy plummets, so does the ability to think critically, be creative, or produce high-quality output. More time is spent on tasks, but with less valuable results. Increased mistakes. Fatigue leads to oversight, poor judgment, and costly errors. Strained relationships. Our reduced emotional capacity makes us less patient and present with colleagues, friends, and family. Loss of passion. The very activities we once enjoyed become burdensome, as our energy simply isn't there to engage with them fully. The depletion trap highlights a critical truth: time is indeed limited, but our effective time is even more so if our energy isn't managed. Working 12 hours while operating on fumes is rarely more productive than working 6 to 8 highly focused, energized hours. We can't simply draw from an infinite well, we must actively, and intentionally, replenish our energy reservoirs. Pillars of energy renewal. To escape the depletion trap and truly harness our energy, we must shift from a mindset of constant extraction to one of strategic replenishment. This involves recognizing the multidimensional nature of our energy, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual, and integrating practices throughout our day that actively renew each dimension. Physical energy, the foundation of all else. Sleep, non-negotiable. Prioritize 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep. A consistent sleep schedule is key. Nutrition, fuel your body with whole, nutrient-dense foods. Avoid energy-sapping processed foods and excessive sugar. Movement, regular physical activity, even short walks, boosts energy levels, reduces stress, and improves focus. Don't think of it as a luxury, but a necessity for brain and body. Breaks and hydration, frequent short breaks throughout the day, coupled with consistent water intake, prevent fatigue and maintain cognitive function. Mental energy, sharpening the saw. Mindfulness and meditation, practices that calm the mind, improve focus, and reduce mental clutter. Even 5 to 10 minutes can make a difference. Deep work and focused breaks, as discussed in Chapter 4, dedicating blocks of uninterrupted time for focused work reduces mental switching costs. Counter this with breaks that genuinely allow the mind to rest, not just switch to another demanding task. Learning and novelty, engaging in activities that stimulate curiosity and intellectual growth can be energizing, but ensure it's purposeful, not just consuming more information. Digital detoxes, regularly disconnect from screens to give your brain a rest from constant stimulation. Emotional energy, Cultivating resilience. Positive self-talk, challenge negative inner dialogue. Practice gratitude and self-compassion. Healthy boundaries. As discussed in Chapter 3, saying no protects your emotional space from draining commitments. Meaningful connections. Nurture relationships that uplift and support you. Avoid those that consistently drain your emotional reserves. Emotional processing. Acknowledge and process emotions rather than suppressing them. Journaling or talking to a trusted friend can be helpful. Spiritual energy. Connecting to purpose. Values alignment. Ensure your daily activities align with your core values and sense of purpose. Misalignment is a huge energy drain. Contribution and service. Engaging in activities that contribute to something larger than yourself can be incredibly energizing and fulfilling. Reflection and nature. Spending time in nature, engaging in prayer, or simply quiet contemplation can restore a sense of calm and perspective. By actively integrating these replenishment strategies, we move from being energy consumers to energy producers, building resilience and sustaining high performance over the long term. Scheduling around energy peaks, not just time slots. The traditional approach to scheduling often ignores a critical personal variable, our unique energy rhythms. We tend to block out time slots based on external demands or arbitrary notions of an 8-hour workday, without considering when we are naturally most alert, creative, or able to sustain deep focus. This leads to frustrating experiences, trying to tackle complex analytical tasks when our brain feels sluggish, or attempting creative brainstorming when our energy is at a low ebb. The key to true energy management is to schedule around your personal ultradian rhythms and circadian rhythms. Circadian rhythms. These are our 24-hour internal clocks that regulate sleep-wake cycles, hormone release, and overall alertness. Most people have a natural peak of energy and alertness in the late morning, a dip in the early afternoon, and another smaller peak in the late afternoon/early evening. Ultradian rhythms. These are shorter cycles, typically 90 to 120 minutes, during which our bodies and minds can sustain peak performance before needing a brief break. Think of them as mini cycles of focus and rest throughout the day. To leverage these rhythms, begin by observing your own energy patterns. For a few days, note down when you feel most focused, creative, alert, and when you experience dips. You might notice. Are you a morning lark with peak focus right after waking? Do you experience a significant post-lunch slump? What are you best for creative tasks versus administrative ones? Once you understand your natural rhythm, design your schedule strategically. Prioritize deep work for peak energy. Schedule your most cognitively demanding, high-leverage tasks, as identified in Chapter 4, during your personal energy peaks. For many, this is the late morning. Protect these blocks fiercely. Reserve low-energy periods for shallow work. Use your natural energy dips, e.g., early afternoon, for less demanding tasks like answering emails, administrative work, or light meetings that don't require intense focus. Integrate micro breaks. After each 90 to 120 minute ultradian cycle of focused work, take a 5 to 15 minute break. Step away from your screen, stretch, grab water, or simply close your eyes. These short breaks prevent mental fatigue and allow your brain to consolidate information. Schedule time for renewal. Intentionally block out time for lunch breaks, walks, exercise, and quiet reflection. Treat these as non-negotiable appointments, just as you would a client meeting. Listen to your body. Pay attention to signals of fatigue or reduced focus. Don't push through. Instead, take a quick break or switch to a less demanding task. By aligning your schedule with your natural energy flow, you not only increase your productivity but also reduce stress, prevent burnout, and experience a greater sense of ease and flow in your day. It's about working with your biology, not against it. High performance without depletion. The energy equation isn't just about avoiding burnout, it's about unlocking a sustainable path to high performance and profound personal fulfillment. When you consistently manage your energy, replenishing it across all dimensions and scheduling your most important work around your natural rhythms, you transform your capacity for impact without the debilitating cost of chronic depletion. This approach offers several powerful advantages. Sustained peak performance. Instead of erratic bursts followed by crashes, you can maintain a higher level of effective output over longer periods. Your work becomes more consistent and of higher quality. Enhanced creativity and problem-solving. A well-rested and energized mind is a more agile, innovative, and resilient mind. You'll find solutions more easily and generate more original ideas. Greater resilience to stress. When your energy reserves are robust, you are better equipped to handle unexpected challenges and setbacks, bouncing back more quickly. Deeper engagement and enjoyment. When you have ample energy, you can engage more fully with your work, your relationships, and your leisure activities, leading to a richer and more satisfying life experience. Tasks become less of a chore and more of an opportunity for focused engagement. Long-term sustainability. This isn't a quick fix for productivity, it's a fundamental shift that prevents burnout and allows for a long, impactful, and healthy career and life. Ultimately, understanding and mastering the energy equation is the culmination of truly becoming unbusy. It moves us beyond merely optimizing our limited time to actively generating and sustaining the very fuel that allows us to perform at our best. By prioritizing energy renewal, through rest, strategic movement, mindful practices, and intelligent scheduling, we embrace a holistic approach to productivity. We learn to work smarter, not just harder, transforming our daily grind into a well-managed flow of purposeful activity, leading to greater achievement, deeper satisfaction, and a life that feels not just busy, but truly alive and deeply fulfilling. Chapter 7: Slow down to speed up. In the modern narrative of achievement, speed has been elevated to an almost mythical status. We live in a world that valorizes rapid-fire responses, instant gratification, and continuous motion. From agile sprints in the workplace to the relentless pace of social media, the message is clear: faster is always better. We equate quickness with effectiveness, believing that the more tasks we churn through, the faster we respond, and the more ground we cover, the more successful we will be. This obsession with speed, however, has become a vicious cycle, often leading to precisely the opposite of what we intend: rushed decisions, diminished quality, and ultimately, a slower path to meaningful progress. This chapter challenges the pervasive cult of speed and presents a radical, yet profoundly effective, counterintuitive truth, that intentionally slowing down is, in fact, a superpower in a fast-paced world. It's not about being idle or complacent, it's about strategic deceleration. It's about recognizing that constant rushing often masks a lack of clarity, a fear of missing out, or an inability to prioritize. When we are always operating in reactive mode, driven by urgency rather than purpose, our actions become less thoughtful, our decisions less sound, and our overall trajectory less aligned with our true objectives. We will explore how the relentless pursuit of velocity often sabotages genuine advancement. By contrast, embracing patience, cultivating reflection, and integrating strategic pauses into our work and lives are not acts of delay, but acts of profound leverage. This chapter will demonstrate how this deliberate shift, slowing down to truly understand, plan, and execute, ultimately leads to smarter decisions, higher quality outcomes, and surprisingly, a much faster rate of sustainable, long-term growth. Why rushing slows real progress? The belief that rushing leads to faster progress is one of the most insidious illusions of our busy culture. While there might be instances where rapid response is genuinely required, for the vast majority of our work and life, haste often sabotages true advancement. Instead of accelerating us forward, a constant state of rushing creates a myriad of problems that ultimately drag us down and impede meaningful achievement. Firstly, rushing leads to superficial thinking and poor decisions. When we are operating under immense time pressure, our brains default to System 1 thinking, fast, intuitive, and often prone to biases and errors. We don't have the luxury of engaging System 2, slow, deliberate, and rational thought. This means decisions are made without adequate information, proper consideration of alternatives, or a thorough understanding of long-term consequences. The result? Mistakes, rework, and the need to constantly backtrack, which inevitably consumes more time than the initial rush saved. Secondly, haste significantly reduces the quality of our output. When deadlines loom impossibly close and our minds are racing, attention to detail suffers. Creativity is stifled, as there's no space for incubation or nuanced thought. the work produced is often less polished, less effective, and requires more revisions or is simply not impactful. This forces us into cycles of correction, where we're constantly fixing what was rushed, further slowing down overall progress. Thirdly, rushing fuels stress and burnout. Operating at an unsustainable pace triggers a constant fight-or-flight response, depleting our energy reserves, as discussed in Chapter 6. This leads to chronic fatigue, irritability, and ultimately, a complete shutdown of productivity. The very act of rushing becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy of exhaustion, forcing unplanned downtime that far outweighs any perceived gains from the initial speed. Finally, a culture of rushing erodes learning and innovation. When we're constantly moving from one thing to the next, there's no time to reflect on what worked, what didn't, or why. Lessons aren't learned, patterns aren't recognized, and opportunities for improvement are missed. Innovation often requires a period of fermentation, a time when ideas can simmer and coalesce. Rushing eliminates this crucial stage, leaving us stuck in reactive modes rather than proactive growth. The illusion of haste keeps us on a hamster wheel, expending tremendous energy but making little real headway. The power of pause. If rushing is the enemy of true progress, then the superpower in our fast-paced world is the intentional pause. Embracing patience, cultivating reflection, and integrating strategic pauses are not luxurious indulgences, they are fundamental practices for achieving greater clarity, making smarter decisions, and ultimately accelerating meaningful progress. This deliberate deceleration is where genuine leverage resides. 1. Embracing patience. Patience is not passive waiting, it's an active choice to operate with wisdom and foresight. It means understanding that valuable outcomes often require time to develop. It's about trusting the process, allowing ideas to incubate, and giving complex problems the space they need to unfold. This patience translates into avoiding knee-jerk reactions. Instead of immediately responding to every email or demand, taking a moment to assess its true urgency and importance. Long-term perspective, focusing on sustainable growth and quality, rather than sacrificing future gains for immediate, fleeting victories. Resilience, the ability to withstand pressure and discomfort without collapsing into frantic activity. 2. Cultivating reflection. Reflection is the deliberate act of looking back to understand, to learn, and to plan forward. It's the critical process that turns experience into wisdom. Scheduled reflection. Carve out dedicated time each day, week, or month to review your progress, analyze what worked and what didn't, and adjust your course. This could be 15 minutes at the end of the day or an hour on a Sunday. Debriefing your day/week. Ask yourself, what did I learn? What could have gone better? What do I need to stop, start, or continue doing? Journaling, a powerful tool for externalizing thoughts, processing emotions, and gaining clarity on complex issues. 3. Integrating strategic pauses. These are intentional breaks in activity that allow for cognitive reset, creative insight, and informed decision-making. Micropauses. Throughout your workday, step away from your screen every 50 to 90 minutes. Take a walk, stretch, get water, or simply look out a window. Pre-decision pauses. Before making a significant decision, especially under pressure, create a deliberate pause. Sleep on it, take a walk, or discuss it with a trusted advisor. This prevents impulsive choices. Post-project pauses. After completing a major project, take time to celebrate, rest, and reflect before jumping into the next one. This prevents burnout and allows for learning. By deliberately integrating patience, reflection, and strategic pauses, we create a feedback loop that informs our actions, enhances our clarity, and ultimately propels us forward with more precision and impact. The ripple effect. The seemingly counterintuitive act of slowing down unleashes a powerful ripple effect, leading directly to better decisions in the short term and significantly faster, more sustainable long-term growth. When we give ourselves the gift of time, to think, to reflect, and to plan, the quality of our output soars, and our overall effectiveness compounds. Better decisions. Clarity. Pausing allows us to gain perspective, see the bigger picture, and identify the root causes of problems rather than just treating symptoms. This leads to more precise and effective solutions. Reduced errors. Time for careful consideration means fewer mistakes, less rework, and a higher quality of execution. This saves immense amounts of time and resources in the long run. Strategic alignment. When decisions are made with reflection, they are more likely to align with our long-term goals and values, preventing us from veering off course due to immediate pressures. Increased confidence. Decisions made thoughtfully instill greater confidence, reducing second-guessing and allowing for bolder, more committed action. Faster long-term growth. Enhanced learning and adaptation. Reflection creates a powerful feedback loop. By understanding what worked and why, we can replicate successes and avoid repeating mistakes, accelerating our learning curve. Sustainable innovation. True innovation rarely comes from frantic rushing. It requires space for ideas to incubate, to connect disparate concepts, and to experiment without the pressure of immediate perfection. Slowing down fosters this environment. Increased resilience and energy. By integrating pauses and honoring our natural energy rhythms, we prevent burnout. This means consistent, high-quality output over years, not just weeks or months. A sustained pace, even if it feels slower daily, far outstrips a rapid, unsustainable sprint followed by collapse. Compounding returns. Just as compound interest builds wealth, compounding clarity and quality in our work leads to exponential growth. Each well-considered decision, each high-quality output, builds on the last, creating a solid foundation for future success. This often outpaces the results of hurried, fragmented efforts. Improved relationships. When we slow down, we have more capacity to be present and empathetic, leading to stronger, more collaborative professional relationships and richer personal connections. This in turn reduces conflict and increases support, indirectly fueling our growth. The ability to slow down is not a sign of weakness, it is a profound display of strength, discipline, and strategic intelligence in a world that constantly pulls us towards fragmentation and haste. The superpower of the deliberate pace. In a society addicted to speed, the person who cultivates a deliberate pace possesses a true superpower. This isn't about moving at a snail's pace, but about moving with intentionality, precision, and wisdom. It's about replacing reactive busyness with proactive, focused action. The unbusy individual doesn't sprint aimlessly, they plot their course, gather their resources, and move with steady, unhurried purpose. Embracing slow down to speed up transforms our relationship with time and progress. We shift from a linear, frantic race to a more cyclical, rhythmic flow, where periods of intense focus are balanced with essential pauses for reflection and renewal. This holistic approach ensures that progress is not just achieved, but sustained and built upon with ever-increasing quality. The key takeaways for cultivating this superpower are: challenge the urgency bias, question whether true urgency exists, or if it's a self-imposed pressure. Build in breathers, intentionally schedule micro-breaks, reflection time, and even empty slots in your calendar. Prioritize deep work, protect uninterrupted blocks for your most important, cognitively demanding tasks. Embrace iteration and learning, see mistakes as opportunities for learning during your pauses, rather than failures to be rushed past. Trust the process, recognize that genuine growth and impactful results often require time and patience. Ultimately, slowing down is an investment. It's an investment in your mental clarity, your decision-making capacity, the quality of your work, and your long-term well-being. It's the conscious choice to step off the hamster wheel of perpetual motion and into a space of deliberate action. By mastering the art of the pause, you will not only make smarter choices but also find yourself reaching your goals with greater efficiency, deeper satisfaction, and a profound sense of purpose. In a world rushing headlong into exhaustion, the power to slow down is truly the power to speed up what matters most. Chapter 8: Building an Unbusy Lifestyle. We've journeyed through the illusions of productivity, the hidden costs of chronic busyness, and the liberating power of saying no, focusing on less, decluttering, and managing our energy. We've seen how slowing down can actually speed up our progress. Now, in this final chapter, the aim is to weave these powerful concepts into a cohesive framework, building an unbusy lifestyle. This isn't about temporary hacks or fleeting productivity tricks, it's about fundamentally reshaping how you approach your days, your work, your relationships, and your personal growth. It's about a permanent shift from a life dictated by external demands to one guided by internal purpose. The promise of an unbusy life is not idleness, but intentionality. It's not about achieving less, but about achieving more of what truly matters. It's a life that feels calm amidst the chaos, clear in its direction, and deeply meaningful in its pursuits. The insidious nature of busyness often traps us in a reactive cycle, leaving us feeling perpetually overwhelmed, fragmented, and disconnected from our authentic selves. Breaking free requires more than just understanding the principles. It demands a conscious, consistent effort to embed these principles into our daily habits and routines. This chapter will serve as a practical guide, tying together all the threads of Unbusy into actionable steps. We will explore how to create sustainable habits that actively reduce overwhelm, how to design a daily routine that prioritizes presence and well-being over relentless output, and ultimately, how to live intentionally across all facets of your life. The goal is to move beyond merely doing unbusy practices to being an unbusy person, someone who navigates the complexities of modern life with grace, focus, and a profound sense of purpose. Creating sustainable habits. The transformation to an unbusy lifestyle doesn't happen overnight. It's built brick by brick, through the consistent application of small, sustainable habits. These habits, when woven into the fabric of your daily routine, act as powerful safeguards against overwhelm and serve as consistent reminders of your commitment to intentional living. Remember, it's easier to prevent busyness from taking root than to uproot it once it's grown wild. Here's how to create and nurture habits that foster unbusiness. Start small, be consistent. Don't try to overhaul everything at once. Choose 1 or 2 core habits from previous chapters, e.g., a daily 15-minute reflection, saying no to one non-essential request per week, a 30-minute deep work block, and focus on making them automatic. Consistency, even with small steps, builds momentum. Anchor new habits to existing ones. Link a desired unbusy habit to something you already do regularly. For example, after I make my morning coffee, I will spend 10 minutes planning my top 3 priorities for the day. Or before I check social media, I will take 3 deep breaths. Design your environment for success. Make it easy to do the right thing and hard to do the wrong thing. Put your phone in a different room during deep work. Create a clear workspace. Lay out exercise clothes the night before. Declutter your digital desktop to reduce distractions. Batch similar tasks, group emails, calls, and administrative tasks together and assign specific times to handle them. This prevents constant context switching and frees up your mental energy for more demanding work. Schedule renewal first. Instead of fitting rest and rejuvenation in if there's time, proactively schedule it. Block out time for exercise, mindful breaks, meal preparation, or simply quiet contemplation. Treat these as non-negotiable appointments. Review and adjust regularly. An unbusy lifestyle is not static. Weekly reviews, perhaps on a Sunday, allow you to assess what's working, what's not, and what adjustments need to be made. Are your boundaries holding? Are you getting enough rest? Are your priorities still clear? This continuous feedback loop is crucial for sustainability. Embrace imperfection. There will be days when things go off track. Don't let one lapse derail your entire effort. Acknowledge it, learn from it, and gently guide yourself back to your habits. The goal is progress, not perfection. By focusing on building these foundational habits, you create a robust system that supports your unbusy intentions, making intentional living less about willpower and more about effortless flow. Designing a daily routine. The traditional daily routine often revolves around a relentless pursuit of productivity as measured by tasks completed and hours logged. An unbusy daily routine, by contrast, shifts the emphasis to presence and the quality of your engagement, rather than mere quantity of output. It's about designing a rhythm that supports your energy, aligns with your values, and allows you to be fully present in each moment, whether working, connecting, or resting. Here's how to design a routine that prioritizes presence. Craft a mindful morning ritual. Instead of immediately diving into email or news, dedicate the first 30 to 60 minutes to yourself. This could involve meditation, journaling, light exercise, reading, or simply enjoying a quiet cup of tea. This sets a calm, intentional tone for the day and grounds you before the demands begin. Identify your sacred hours. Based on your energy peaks, Chapter 6, identify 2 to 4 hours when you are most focused and creative. Dedicate these sacred hours to your most important, deep work tasks. Protect them from meetings, emails, and distractions. Integrate micro breaks for presence. Throughout your day, step away from your work every 60 to 90 minutes. Don't just switch tasks. Take 5 to 10 minutes to move your body, look out a window, or practice a brief mindfulness exercise. These breaks reset your attention and allow you to return to work with renewed focus. Conscious transition points. Create clear boundaries between work and personal life. A shutdown ritual at the end of your workday, e.g., tidying your desk, planning tomorrow's top 3 tasks, closing your computer, signals to your brain that work is done. This prevents the mental bleed over that often leads to overwhelm. Prioritize presence in relationships. When with family or friends, consciously put away your phone. Give them your full, undivided attention. Meal times can be sacred, device-free zones. Quality time, not just quantity, fosters deeper connections. Embrace intentional leisure. Your free time should be for genuine renewal, not just another list of things to do. Choose leisure activities that truly energize and fulfill you, whether it's a hobby, reading, spending time in nature, or simply doing nothing. Protect this time fiercely. Cultivate a wind-down evening routine. Just as mornings set the tone, evenings prepare you for restful sleep. Avoid screens before bed. Read a book, listen to calming music, or take a warm bath. This signals to your body it's time to slow down, supporting the energy renewal discussed earlier. Designing your day around presence means moving away from a rigid, overscheduled existence to a more fluid, purpose-driven flow that honors your natural rhythms and fosters genuine well-being. Living intentionally. An unbusy lifestyle is not merely about managing your schedule, it's about embodying intentionality across all significant domains of your life. It's a conscious choice to imbue your work, your relationships, and your personal growth with purpose, clarity, and genuine presence, moving away from reactive busyness to proactive engagement. In work, purpose-driven projects. Actively seek out or shape work that aligns with your skills, passions, and the greater mission of your organization. When your work has meaning, it's less likely to feel like mere busy work. Strategic contribution. Focus on the highest impact activities, the one thing from Chapter 4, that move the needle. Don't get caught in the trap of trying to do everything. Aim for significant, quality contributions. Clear boundaries. Consistently apply the power of no, Chapter 3, to protect your focused work time and prevent scope creep. Communicate your availability and priorities clearly to colleagues and clients. Leverage technology wisely. Use tools to automate, delegate, and streamline, but don't let technology become another source of endless demands and distractions. Continuous learning. Focus. Dedicate specific, unhurried time for learning and professional development that genuinely supports your growth, rather than just endlessly consuming information. In relationships, quality over quantity of interactions. Prioritize truly present, engaged conversations and experiences over numerous, superficial ones. Put devices away during meals and conversations. Active listening. Give loved ones your full attention without multitasking or formulating your response. Show genuine curiosity and empathy. Scheduled connection. Intentionally block out time for family dinners, date nights, or friend meetups. Treat these as non-negotiable appointments. Express appreciation. Regularly communicate gratitude and affection. These small acts of intentionality strengthen bonds. Healthy conflict resolution. Address issues directly and respectfully, rather than allowing resentment to build up amidst overwhelming busyness. In personal growth, define your values. Regularly reflect on what truly matters to you: honesty, creativity, family, contribution, etc. Let these values guide your choices. Cultivate self-awareness. Pay attention to your energy levels, emotional states, and reactions. Understand what truly energizes and drains you. Prioritize rest and play. View rest, leisure, and play not as luxuries, but as essential components of well-being and fuel for creativity and productivity. Practice mindfulness. Integrate moments of quiet, present awareness into your day. This could be through formal meditation or simply noticing your breath while walking. Embrace lifelong learning. Choose areas of personal interest for deep learning, not just surface-level consumption. This adds richness and depth to your life. Living intentionally across these domains means making conscious choices that align with your purpose, rather than being swept along by the currents of external expectations and endless activity. It's a continuous process of refinement, but one that leads to a deeply fulfilling and impactful existence. The enduring rewards of an unbusy life. The journey to an unbusy lifestyle is a transformative one, offering enduring rewards that extend far beyond simply getting more done. It's a profound shift in how you experience your life, replacing the frantic scramble with a deliberate, calm, and deeply satisfying rhythm. The culmination of embracing the principles of unbusiness is a life that feels not merely efficient, but truly alive and meaningful. What are these enduring rewards? Profound clarity and focus. By shedding the superfluous, you gain crystal clear insight into what truly matters. Your decisions become sharper, your actions more precise, and your efforts yield significantly greater impact. Enhanced well-being. The chronic stress and exhaustion of busyness are replaced by sustained energy, emotional resilience, and improved physical health. You sleep better, feel less anxious, and experience a pervasive sense of calm. Deeper connections. When you are truly present, your relationships flourish. You can listen more attentively, connect more genuinely, and nurture the bonds that provide joy, support, and meaning. Unleashed creativity and innovation. With less mental clutter and more dedicated space for reflection, your mind is free to explore, innovate, and generate novel solutions to challenges. A sense of control and agency. Instead of feeling like a victim of your schedule, you become the conscious architect of your life, making intentional choices about where to invest your time, energy, and attention. Greater impact and legacy. By focusing on fewer, higher-quality initiatives, your contributions become more significant and memorable, leaving a lasting positive mark. Authentic fulfillment. The deepest reward of an unbusy life is the profound satisfaction that comes from living in alignment with your values and purpose. It's a life where you feel genuinely present, engaged, and content, rather than perpetually chasing the next thing. Building an unbusy lifestyle is an ongoing commitment, a continuous practice of discernment, courage, and self-compassion. It requires a willingness to challenge societal norms, to say no when everyone else says yes, and to trust that by doing less, you truly will achieve more peace, more presence, more impact, and more joy. This is not just a strategy for productivity, it is a philosophy for living a richer, more meaningful life. Conclusion. Your invitation to be unbusy. We've reached the end of our journey through the principles of unbusiness, but in truth, this is just the beginning of yours. Throughout these pages, we've systematically dismantled the pervasive myths that equate relentless activity with genuine achievement. We've explored how the constant hum of "I'm busy" can actually imprison us, draining our energy, fragmenting our focus, and distancing us from what truly brings meaning to our lives. The illusion of productivity, the tyranny of always saying yes, the cognitive cost of constant context switching, the invisible drain of clutter, and the unsustainable nature of depleted energy, these are the hallmarks of a life lived under pressure, not purpose. But you now hold the keys to a different way of being. You've seen that true effectiveness doesn't stem from endless doing, but from intentional effort, strategic pauses, and a deep understanding of your own rhythms and priorities. The core principles of unbusiness aren't revolutionary in their complexity, but in their countercultural simplicity. Challenge the illusion of productivity. Motion isn't always progress. True effectiveness comes from intentional, focused effort, not endless activity. Reclaim your narrative. Stop letting "I'm busy" define your identity. Shift from a mindset of frantic doing to one of purpose-driven action. Embrace the power of no. Boundaries are your secret weapon for protecting your time, energy, and attention, creating space for what truly matters. Focus on less, achieve more. Single tasking and deep work lead to higher quality outcomes and deeper satisfaction than the fragmented chaos of multitasking. Declutter your life, physical, digital, and emotional clutter drains your energy and focus. Simplifying your surroundings creates clarity and capacity. Manage your energy, not just your time. Your vitality is a renewable resource. Prioritize rest, movement, mindfulness, and align your work with your natural energy rhythms. Slow down to speed up. Strategic pauses, reflection, and patience lead to smarter decisions, fewer mistakes, and ultimately, faster and more sustainable long-term growth. These aren't just isolated techniques, they are interconnected pillars that support a fundamental shift in your approach to life. The choice is now yours. Continue on the relentless treadmill of busyness, or courageously step off and design a life that truly serves you. Living with purpose, not pressure. The ultimate aspiration of an unbusy life is to live with purpose, not pressure. This is a profound recalibration of your internal compass, moving from being constantly pushed by external demands to being deliberately pulled by your deepest values and aspirations. It's about replacing the frantic, reactive energy of "I'm busy" with the calm, focused power of "I'm intentional." Living with purpose means clarity on your why, understanding your core values, your personal mission, and what truly brings you meaning. This why acts as a filter for every decision, allowing you to gracefully decline what doesn't align and passionately pursue what does. It gives direction to your doing. Prioritizing what matters most, it's a continuous act of discernment. In a world of endless possibilities, the unbusy individual chooses wisely, focusing their finite time and energy on the few things that will yield the greatest impact and fulfillment. This isn't about doing nothing, but about doing the right things. Embracing presence, whether you're working on a crucial project, engaging in a conversation with a loved one, or simply enjoying a moment of quiet, living with purpose means being fully present. It's about savoring the now, rather than constantly worrying about the next task. This deep engagement transforms ordinary moments into extraordinary experiences. Resilience and renewal, recognizing that sustained purpose requires sustained energy. It's about building in deliberate practices for rest, reflection, and rejuvenation, understanding that these are not luxuries but essential components of a thriving life. You can't pour from an empty cup, and living purposefully means keeping your cup full. Sustainable growth, this isn't about quick wins followed by burnout. It's about building a foundation for consistent, meaningful progress over the long haul. It's the difference between sprinting and running a marathon with consistent, intentional strides. When purpose replaces pressure, your life feels less like a series of disconnected tasks and more like a coherent narrative. The anxiety of not doing enough slowly fades, replaced by the quiet confidence of knowing you are doing what truly matters, with quality and intention. This shift impacts not just your productivity, but your overall well-being, your relationships, and your capacity for joy. Your call to action: start today. This book is not just a collection of ideas, it's an invitation. An invitation to reclaim your time, your energy, and your peace of mind. An invitation to step out of the relentless cycle of busyness and into a life that feels calm, clear, and deeply meaningful. The path to being unbusy isn't a destination you arrive at overnight, it's a continuous journey, a series of deliberate choices you make, day after day. The most important step you can take is to start today. Don't wait for a perfect time, or for your schedule to magically clear up. Begin right now, with one small, intentional action. Here are a few ways to start your unbusy journey today. Identify your one thing. Before you do anything else, decide the single most important task you need to accomplish today. Commit to tackling that one thing with focused attention. Say no to one non-essential request. Choose one thing you would normally say yes to out of obligation or habit, and politely, but firmly, decline. Experience deliberation. Schedule a white space block. Find just 15 to 30 minutes in your calendar today or tomorrow that is completely unscheduled. Use it for reflection, a short walk, or simply quiet thought. No devices, no tasks. Declutter one small area. Clear off your desk, organize one drawer, or delete 10 unnecessary emails. Feel the immediate mental lightness that comes with less clutter. Schedule an energy renewal break. Instead of pushing through, consciously take a 5-minute break to stretch, breathe deeply, or step outside. Turn off notifications. Silence non-essential notifications on your phone and computer for a few hours. Notice how much less fragmented your attention feels. These small, consistent actions will build momentum, strengthening your unbusy muscles. Don't strive for perfection, strive for progress. There will be days when the old habits resurface, when the pressure feels overwhelming, or when you find yourself slipping back into the busy identity. That's okay. Acknowledge it, learn from it, and gently guide yourself back to your intentional path. Beyond productivity. The benefits of building an unbusy lifestyle extend far beyond simply getting more done. While enhanced productivity is a valuable outcome, the deeper, more profound rewards touch every facet of your existence, creating a life that feels richer, more vibrant, and more authentically yours. Consider these unseen benefits. Deepen relationships. When you're not constantly preoccupied or rushing, you can offer your full presence to the people who matter most. This leads to more meaningful conversations, stronger bonds, and a powerful sense of connection and belonging. You become a better partner, parent, friend, and colleague. Rekindled joy and creativity. An uncluttered mind, fueled by renewed energy, is fertile ground for joy and creativity. You'll find yourself rediscovering passions, engaging in hobbies with greater enthusiasm, and experiencing moments of unexpected insight and inspiration that were once stifled by constant busyness. Play becomes a natural part of your life again. Inner peace and calm. The frantic internal monologue often triggered by overwhelm begins to quiet. You'll experience a profound sense of inner calm, resilience, and equanimity, even amidst external demands. The ability to navigate challenges without feeling constantly stressed becomes a superpower in itself. Improved health and vitality, reduced chronic stress, better sleep, more intentional movement, and mindful eating habits naturally lead to improved physical and mental health. You'll have more sustained energy, feel less fatigued, and be more resilient to illness. Enhanced decision-making and wisdom. By taking the time to pause, reflect, and gather clarity, your decisions become more sound, more strategic, and more aligned with your long-term vision. This leads to fewer missteps and a greater sense of confidence in your choices. A legacy of purpose. Ultimately, an unbusy life is a purposeful life. You're not just ticking boxes, you're creating meaningful impact, nurturing valuable relationships, and contributing to the world in ways that truly matter to you. Your life becomes a testament to intentionality, rather than just relentless activity. These aren't abstract concepts, they are tangible shifts you can experience in your daily life as you commit to doing less and being more. Embrace the unbusy revolution. The modern world will continue to champion busyness, to bombard you with demands, and to tempt you with the illusion of constant doing. But you now possess the knowledge and the tools to resist that pull. This book is your invitation to join a quiet revolution, a movement not of protest, but of presence, not of doing more, but of being more. Embracing unbusiness isn't about rejecting ambition or success. It's about redefining them on your own terms. It's about achieving genuine impact without sacrificing your well-being, your relationships, or your joy. It's about finding freedom in focus, and power in the pause. The path forward is simple, though not always easy. It requires awareness, recognizing when you're caught in the trap of busyness. Courage, daring to say no, to set boundaries, and to prioritize your peace. Discipline, consistently applying the habits and strategies that support intentional living. Patience, understanding that transformation is a journey, not a sprint. Self-compassion, being kind to yourself when you stumble and gently guiding yourself back on track. Your invitation to be unbusy is an invitation to a life lived on your terms, a life characterized by purpose, clarity, and genuine fulfillment. It's an invitation to reconnect with what truly matters, to cultivate deeper relationships, and to make your most valuable contributions with renewed energy and focus. Start today. Choose one thing. Let go of one obligation. Take one deep breath. Experience the profound truth: by doing less, you truly will get more. The journey awaits. Are you ready to accept the invitation?